Okay, you've definitely seen this in your own feed, right? Creators selling these high-ticket courses or coaching programs, and it looks like they're doing it all from their Instagram DMs. Well, today, we're not just going to look at it, we're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the entire playbook. This is how the Instagram DM funnel really works.
So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to define what a profile funnel even is. Then we'll dive deep into the psychology that makes it all tick, this idea of social aura. After that, we'll break down the exact story formula they use, how they close huge deals without ever hopping on a call, and we'll wrap up with the really clever part, the loop that makes this whole thing run on its own.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the profile funnel explained. So what is this thing? At its core, it's a completely different way of thinking about selling stuff online, a total paradigm shift. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You see, the old way, that traditional funnel on the left, was all about dragging you off of Instagram onto some complicated website or an email list. But the profile funnel, it keeps everything right there on the platform. The goal isn't to just grab your email, it's to actually start a real conversation with you. So I want you to think about it like this. Your Instagram profile stops being just a simple storefront, and it becomes the entire factory. It's the thing that attracts people, nurtures the relationship, and converts them into clients, all in one place. It is a completely self-contained engine. So what is it that makes this funnel so darn effective? Well, it's all built on this core idea called social aura. And honestly, this is the real engine that drives this entire strategy. So what in the world is social aura? Think of it as your reputation, but on steroids. It's the public perception that you are an authority, someone who gets incredible results. And the key thing here is that it's not built by what you say you can do, but by the success you consistently show everyone. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The whole idea is that seeing you win, seeing your success, is way more persuasive than any sales pitch you could ever dream up. Your personal brand, that aura, actually becomes more valuable than the thing you're selling.
So how do you actually build this aura? Well, you do it with content that looks a lot like this. But here's the thing, don't just mistake this for bragging. Every single one of these points is a strategic piece of content. It's designed to build massive credibility and make your audience think one simple thing. I have to know what this person knows.
Okay, time to get tactical. You've built up this powerful aura, but how do you actually turn your passive followers into paying customers? Well, the answer is in a very, very specific way of putting together your Instagram stories. You see, the story sequence they use isn't just some random bunch of posts. Nope, it follows a classic story structure. It always starts with a hook to make you stop scrolling, then it moves into the body where they build up their authority and show you results, and it always finishes with a crystal clear call to action that makes you want to slide into their DMs. But just having a good structure isn't enough. The playbook layers in these powerful psychological triggers that make the story pretty much irresistible. It's this potent cocktail of curiosity, fear of missing out, scarcity, urgency, and even a little bit of controversy just to stop you from mindlessly tapping through. Okay, here is a perfect, really subtle example of that controversy trigger in action. You've seen 10K a month a million times, right? Your brain just kind of glazes over it. But what about this tiny little change? Why do that? It's all about this right here. That one slightly weird detail is what's called a pattern interrupt. It forces you to pause for just a split second and ask, wait, why 11K? And in that tiny moment of hesitation, the hook is set. You're pulled in. It's so subtle, but it's incredibly powerful. So the story worked, the social aura is strong, and now someone has actually sent you a DM. So now what happens? Let's break down how this playbook closes a high-ticket sale without ever getting on the phone. And this is a huge departure from old-school sales. The entire goal of all that work up front, the stories, the social aura, is to get the person 90% of the way sold before they even message you. The DM isn't for a discovery session, it's just for the final confirmation. This table really shows you the flow of the conversation, and I want you to notice how every single stage is about the seller taking control and leading. From immediately shutting down a request for a call, to qualifying if they have the money, and handling any concerns with total authority, the seller is always positioned as the expert guide.
And this really gets to the absolute heart of the DM close. It's not about having some perfect magical script. It's about having the right posture. It's that confident leadership tone that actually makes someone feel comfortable enough to invest thousands of dollars right there in a chat. But the playbook doesn't stop once the sale is made. Oh no. In this really clever twist, that one sale becomes the most powerful marketing tool for the next launch. This is what's called the post-sale FOMO loop. Okay, step 1. The second that spot is sold, an announcement goes live. This immediately creates this intense sense of scarcity and social proof for everybody else who is watching and maybe hesitating on the sidelines. And then, step 2, that's followed up with proof of just how overwhelming the demand was. A screenshot showing hundreds, literally hundreds, of DMs from people who missed out. This validates the value of what was offered in a huge way. So when you put those two posts together, they create this incredible feeling of FOMO. It effectively turns that one single sale into a pre-qualified wait list of super motivated customers who are just ready and waiting for the next chance to buy. It becomes a totally self-sustaining cycle of demand. You know, when you look at this whole playbook, so much of it isn't really about the product. It's about the person, their perceived authority, and their brand. And it leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. In a world that is so saturated with content, is someone's social aura actually becoming more valuable than what they sell? Definitely something to think about.